tough targets. The King George yesterday. Where should we start? We should start at the start, shouldn't we? Because tactics we knew were going to be key, and they were.
They were, because it was unexpected tactics. Everyone, including Francis-Henri Graffard, presumed that Continuous would go to the front, but that didn't happen. He left the way open for Jan Bruegel. So that's what happened, but why it happened is the more interesting part.
It's a fascinating question. As this was happening, I think we were all scratching our heads because Continuous could easily have gone forward. In fact, Wayne was having to do everything he can to stop him going forward. So this was clearly the plan, but why?
Why was it then? Not only that, they set this formation up so that Ryan Moore, who we presumed would be the co-pilot, became the actual pilot to control things. And I think that when we get to halfway, there's a couple of points here that we need to make, and that is that at the 6 furlong pole, the closest this race is in terms of raw time to a previous King George or recent King George's pile driver. Now, to this point, they were around 4 3/4 seconds behind where pile driver's King George was. That translates to around 21-22 lengths.
So nearly a distance.
So it's deliberately slow. Yeah. It's deliberately slow by Ryan Moore. Whatever the plan was, the first part was to get to halfway in a slow way.
Pause for a moment, just on that thought, because many people will think, we all knew this before the race, that Calandagan's lethal weapon is his acceleration. We know that, and that's going to be suited by a slow pace. This is running like a French race. Yeah. So this can't be the plan, to crawl, and then kick. So what should have happened at this point, do we surmise?
So the facts are that Ryan Moore has deliberately got to halfway at a slow pace.
Super slow.
Which would seem counterintuitive because you're thinking, well, Calandagan is a very fast horse.
Yep.
But I think the idea is you can't recreate Epsom, but we can do something different. And look at Ryan Moore's body language. It suddenly changed with 5 furlongs to go in that now he wants to effectively turn it into a stamina test from this point.
So this is the turning point, and Ryan Moore at this point is starting to shovel the coal on. We're building steam at this point in Jan Bruegel. We should be building speed and momentum, but it doesn't quite happen.
No, because look at everything else in the field, including Continuous. They are firmly on the bridle, and this is not speed which is stretching those horses. In effect, I don't think Jan Bruegel is able to do what they wanted him to do. A cheek piece Jan Bruegel as well to that point.
Yeah, the cheek pieces for the first time. And that was a clue, wasn't it, that this could have been in the offing, and he just hangs a bit there, and you see Ryan Moore immediately going for his stick, and Ryan Moore uses his stick quite a lot in this race, including when all chance is gone. I thought it was very telling, that I thought.
The game's up for him. The game's up for Rebels Romance as well, who, because of the slow pace, was boxed in at that critical stage, and it effectively becomes a 2-horse race between Kalpana and Calandagan. A slow pace, but what does that mean for the finish? Well, this is where you need to check out Simon Rowland's expert analysis debrief, which will be appearing at the start of the week because he will have the specifics of the numbers. But I rated that to look at previous King Georges. And in Simon's words, the fastest last 3 furlongs of King George of the modern era, they belong to Novelist, who was a record holder, and Adiyar, and Port's Word. Both of these 2 horses were quicker in the last 3 furlongs than those. So this was a super quick finish. How quick? Well, we can bring one more comparison in, and I like this, because we've got here Kalpana and Calandagan, and who are they? Who are we matching them up with? Well, how about 2 of the fastest sprinters in the world? Because think back to the Jubilee at Royal Ascot, and the brilliant Lazat, who was joined in the finish by the equally electric Satono Rev, and he is the headline out of this year's King George. Calandagan in the last 2 furlongs was faster than both Lazat and Satono Rev.
The final 2 furlongs?
In the last 2 furlongs, yeah. That horse, his secret magic mix is that he can run incredibly quickly at the end of 1.5 mile races. The race was set up for him. Did Ballydoyle get the tactics wrong, or put the right tactics down with the wrong horse?
Well, with hindsight, you say they've definitely got them wrong. But I think what's telling about this is we all saw what happened at Epsom, and we all assumed that they would have to change tactics because Calandagan's team would have learned from Epsom. They'd go past him once, fast, probably a bit wide of him. So they had to change something. Yeah. They did, and it didn't work. The question for me is, why didn't it work? Was Jan Bruegel just having a really bad day at the office, which is possible, or what? Did they misjudge what he's capable of?
I think that, again, the brilliance of this race is that we're still thinking about it in the event, after the event as well. And when I watched that, I think, well, how did Jan Bruegel beat Calandagan at Epsom. And the tactics that went into that, I think that between them, Ballydoyle decided we can't recreate Epsom because of the facts, the non-negotiable facts of the track's different and the ground's different. But we can play with the pace. And I think they played with the pace, probably with the wrong horse. But they've learned from that and they'll put that in the right spot.
Yeah.
But the headline from this year's King George is not one but two really fast developing horses. And Kalpana here, she's almost a breakout star, isn't she?
Absolutely, goes to the head of the market in the Arc as a result of that, which of course Calandagan can't run in. So it's interesting. I think it's a tribute to Calandagan that they were forced to rip up their running plans and do something different. That was the only way they thought they could beat it.
Exactly the point that I was thinking is that it was out of great respect for Calandagan. They thought, wow, how have we managed to just hold him off at Epsom? In his home fixture, he's going to be all the harder to beat, as it was. But it was great to see a marquee performance. And there's something, Sean, about high-class horses quickening on fast ground that really gets the blood stirring.
It was great, and both the first two did that. The mare first and then Calandagan over the top. Great stuff.